Good. All right,
Yeah.
everyone. Welcome to the stream. Obviously, the big announcement might be given away in the title. Um, Something that's been in the work for a while here at Carter Pulse, probably months. That we'll probably dive in a little bit as we, you know, talk about this further on today's show. We'll let the viewers get in here a little bit more before we do play the official announcement video. But as the title says, Carter Pulse has partnered up with Advanced GG. Well, I guess we can say we both partnered up together. There's some big things in the works already, big things already happening, everything. And this is really kind of just the start of where we will be heading with the future of Carter Pulse and Advanced GG. Kev?
Yeah, and we just want to say we're super excited to start this relationship. Like Dan said, it's been a long time coming. We've been working together for a while now, Carter Pulse and Advanced GG, and we're just so excited to announce the partnership. And this is just the beginning. So make sure you're following Advanced GG, you're following Carter Pulse on all platforms, and following the things we have to come. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, so I think we're ready. Connor, play the video whenever you want. Awesome. And then if you want to play their introduction video as well, we'll get that rolling as well. Take two.
What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Bird Notice.
Hi, ho everyone, my name is Mr. Fruit, and welcome back to another day, another video. I hope you're all doing well. How are you?
What is up, guys? Rick Cacus here.
Hey everyone, Entast here, and I wanted to talk about Shout.
As soon as it hits 20, I'm doing it. World record.
Hopefully, I don't die.
Are guys bad at video games?
All right. Awesome. So we just introduced that we're going partnership with Advanced, but we just want to introduce Eric and Richard from Advanced. And so we'll give you guys a chance to say something brief really quick before we get into the questions.
How's it going? Eric here, aka Far Cognition. I think Richard is muted
Did he freeze again?
or froze.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
All right, we'll just keep it rolling. We'll ask the first question for Eric, and then hopefully Richard can make it back. So the first question we always like to ask is how'd you get in esports, and why'd you choose this route, and then what'd you do before this that led to it ultimately?
How did I get into esports? I've been in the industry for about 8 years now. Been a part of gaming in general, like my whole life. Like I think most of us have. I'm 34 years old, so started off with like Sega Genesis, Nintendo, all those different things. Um, but yeah, in terms of the industry side, I started off doing events. I started off as a TO doing esport events, kind of for fun, like a volunteer type, kind of for fun for the community. Just ended up having a ton of fun with that, and eventually it just dawned on me. I'm like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I want to be in gaming. Um, then from there, I ended up picking up various jobs. Worked with a variety of different companies, um, mostly in influencer marketing, which is one of my favorite parts of marketing because I like to always say it's like having having like a Rolodex of awesome people that do awesome things as your friends. Um, so yeah, I've worked with a variety of different companies that led to where I am now with Advanced, which is being one of the marketing leads at Advanced and having a blast. So, Richard, if you want to talk about how you got involved into gaming, esports, the community, the online community?
I mean, I got into it kind of a funny way. My background is, data analytics, corporate marketing, um, behavioral models, basically everything. When you hear about people running algos and how to better target folks, I was one of those folks that did a lot of that architectural work. Cut my teeth in agencies like Edelman, Citizen Relations, Mavens of London, and I got into esports. It's kind of funny. Like I'm an old school gamer, but I got into the Overwatch scene by setting up the first supporter club in Overwatch League, Five Deadly Venoms. I did it because I wanted to watch. I didn't feel like watching Overwatch League like on my mobile phone by myself, and I couldn't watch it on the television at home because my wife would kill me for just like having games on the TV all the time. So I said, well, why don't we just like borrow from European soccer and just do supporter club, like not a fan club. Let's like give ourselves a name, give ourselves some colors. And basically, I found a small cafe in New York, Waypoint Cafe in New York. The guys were like, you can come in so long as you cheer for the local team. And I'm like, all right, sounds good. Um, and within 60 days, we were stuffing this like land center with like, it's a coffee shop with like 16 computers, if I'm not mistaken, 16 or 32 computers. And we rammed 80 people in. Place was blowing up. And that's kind of how I got in. Because prior to that, I was primarily doing music production, so I didn't even have a graphics card. I left the gaming scene for ages. Before then, I'm going to date myself, but the last game I played seriously was Battlefield Vietnam, and the graphics standard was AGP4X. So that was my path in. And then I ran into the advanced guys, and I'm not making this up. I ran into them at a conference, at a convention, EGLX in Toronto.
EGLX, the largest event in Canada, largest
Yeah,
gaming event in all of Canada. Yeah.
I'm walking around and there's there's this booth set up, and they're like they've got these urns and I was just thirsty, so I wanted a sample, and that's literally how the relationship started because I tried it. I'm like, well, this is actually pretty awesome stuff. Kept talking. Um, Eric and the team at Advance ended up sponsoring a team that I work with, Team Revival, who was in the Overwatch scene. We're now currently in League of Legends and looking at a few other spots. And it's one of those kind of funny things where the promise of what this was just kind of took off from there. And here we are today talking to you folks.
Awesome.
There we go.
So obviously we love Advanced. You guys have already made a name for yourself in this industry, times 10. And we just want to talk about and want you guys to get a chance to discuss how is Advanced GG different from those other ones out there, those other gaming energy supplements, the other gaming energy products. How is it different in terms of the product itself? And then also how you guys do things and how you guys work in this industry.
Absolutely, I'll take that one. I mean, it's really simple. They say in business that in order to have a successful business, you need to solve a certain problem. There has to be a problem first, in order to have something to solve and to give something that people want. And the problem that we solved, because one could say there were other brands like us, doing this already, but that's not the case. They were doing it a different way. They were very brand focused. They didn't talk too much about ingredients. We came in and we were like, there's an opening to have real supplements, open label products with clinically dosed ingredients. So supplements that do exactly as advertised. That wasn't being done before at the time. Again, it was more about just having kind of caffeinated products that were very brand focused. And we're like, you know what? There's an opening. It's being done in the fitness space. People want open label products that are clinically dosed. So that's really where we saw the opening and how we differentiate. Even till this day, there are a few other companies now that are clinically dosed and open label, but we think we were really the first to do it. So
awesome.
Yeah.
What was the second question?
And not only just about the product itself, what separates you guys from the competition in terms of how you guys work in this industry, how your partnerships work, how you deal with talent, how you deal with the industry, the people in the industry themselves.
Richard, you could take that one.
Advanced is interesting in that right now we're Eric and I and you'll find many of the folks in the team, we're all coming from different places. Like geographically we're in different locations, but one of the things that really defines Advanced approach to things, and I think it's really important, and it dovetails a little bit off of what Eric had mentioned, is there's a lot of folks that start off with a brand first, right? They start off with like an image, right? The standard business protocol, right, is you design a brand story, you design a narrative, then you come up with a product that can fit that, and then you sign up a bunch of marketing, you buy a lot of media, and then you like really pray for the sales to come in, right? That is the traditional path to market for a lot of fast moving consumer goods or any other type of product in that in any category. Advance is unique because in many ways, the way I love to describe it, and I say this in the most loving way, the entire business actually is built almost backwards. You know, it's built off of trying to make a product that does what it says, do it well, present it to people, and you build up the market. And then you're like, okay, wait a minute, this is really working. This is an amazing thing. We should find a way to really talk about it and tell this story a little bit better. So it's actually built backwards. And that experience is really what tends to define a lot of how we do things. When we look at creative, we bring in a lot of, I guess you could argue, it's a lot of almost like traditional and old school approaches to things. When we design a creative brief, it's not about just trying to make something as hype beast as possible. It's about, as we build things out, it's making sure that we lay down foundations so that we don't have to keep running like with our heads cut off and recreating the wheel over and over again. Advanced in many ways, and this is where it gets interesting. I think it might be a little bit different than a lot of esports or related industry organizations, but it's not different at all from anyone who's been in corporate marketing, PR, or brand work. There's a lot of foundation set. It's just like a lot of simple rule sets and making sure that any staff that we're working with or people that we work with kind of have that same level and same view where they know that the mission is, in the end, to do great work that you could be proud of, that you can talk to people about and be happy about. And then all the benefits that come after that are wonderful, but that has to come after the process is followed, and you kind of like, you get with the program, and that's really it. It's, in a way, it's almost like a very new school, old school sort of traditionalist formula.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, guys. And I mean, one thing that I think goes without saying is, the flavors and the product that's out there right now is very
Mhm.
tasteful, very enjoyable. It's good for you. Everything is great about it. But one thing that people are always wondering is, and I know we've been talking a lot behind the scenes, and we might not be able to give the full disclosure, but is there any hints that you guys could talk about, like new products coming out, new flavors coming out, that you guys kind of want to tease the audience with a little bit?
I mean,
We always
we
joke
have
about
a ton.
redacted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. We have a ton of stuff. Our roadmap,
Yeah.
I mean, it's already built about a year out from now, and then
Hmm.
some. A ton. I guess just be prepared for literally, I mean, dozens and dozens of new flavors, new products.
Hmm.
Um, we're going just full speed ahead. And this Friday, we're dropping a new product, a new chill flavor.
Hmm.
So if for those that are familiar with our chill line, which still to this day, I think we're the only company doing it.
Yeah.
It's like the normal products you're kind of used to, that energy kind of focus
Hmm.
product, except this one is a relaxer. It relaxes you. There's a CBD isolate in it. And it works awesome. Unfortunately, we can only ship it within the United States right now, and
Hmm.
it's on a separate website. It's on chillbyadvanced.gg. But this Friday, we're dropping a new flavor
Hmm.
finally, after maybe, I don't know, a year and a half of the chill product being out.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, we're really really excited about that. It's a good one, and it's perfect for summer. So be
Yeah,
ready for it.
it
There
is.
you go.
That's a good one. And then what I think is the only other hint I would say is that when we were brainstorming ideas for flavors, I submitted a list, and partially I had submitted it almost like we'll see if this can happen. This is a pretty ambitious flavor profile to go after, and three of them cleared. So this is where it's going to be really interesting. But you're going to see some. So you will see expansions across. And again, this is dovetailing a bit off of what Eric said, a little bit off of each of the categories that we play in. So some in the energy space, some in the focus space, and then of course some in the chill space. And I think that's the really amazing thing. You're going to see a little bit across the entire portfolio. So there'll be something for everybody, and in some very very new and interesting spaces.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's key right there. It's something for everyone, even if it's a small one of our smaller demographics. We still
Hmm.
want to have something for that. So
Yeah, no, you guys said it perfect. Just getting everyone involved, something for everyone. And so I kind of want to jump back into esports and just talk about that a little bit more. So I guess even in the industry right now, What's one common myth or something you'd like to debunk about the industry or esports in general that you'd like to kind of talk about right now?
I mean, I could say what I think you could say yours too, Rich. But
Yeah, yeah.
my my big thing would be, I mean, there's many things I could say, but I'd say maybe non. Yeah, I'll speak from an industry perspective.
Mhm,
Maybe non-endemic companies that may be established in other places, other industries, think they look at gaming and esports and they say, oh, this is crazy, this is booming, it's one of the fastest growing
mm,
industries. I could probably make a ton of money by coming into it. Um, but it's not as easy as it seems.
mm,
Um, you pretty much have to be endemic to the space to be able to be successful, or at the very least, hire people who are
mhm,
right. Um, trying to come into the space. Again, you're a non-endemic brand. You're gonna stick out like a sore thumb. People are gonna probably meme you to death, and you'll just end up leaving the industry
mhm.
with your tail between your legs and not making any money. And it happens all the time. So I'd say that's
Yeah,
the biggest myth is that people think it's easy to come into gaming and esports, and it's not.
yeah.
You really have to know what you're doing. So
Mm. I think for me, the biggest myth is that when people look at the space, especially from the outside looking in, or even the inside when we look at ourselves, everyone loves to say or think that the world is totally different.
mm,
Everything's different because it's esports. Oh my God, the whole world is changed. It hasn't. Um, all the old rules are there, and what I've seen is a great example is from standard marketing development, media negotiations, contracts. All these things when people's minds are blown within the esports space about did you know that it's like this is the way you should be negotiating a contract, and I'm like, no kidding, like that's how it's been done for like 30 years in the space.
mm,
Um, One of the biggest myths, and this leads to one of the biggest problems, is that people approach esports almost assuming that there's nothing to learn from like these crotchety old endemic companies and big old agencies and old school advertising, when the truth is media buys are the same, conversions are the same, and in fact one of the ways that a lot of organizations sustain themselves, and no one talks about this, is that you've just been given flaming garbage trucks full of VC money, um, and the truth is the money is being squandered in horrible, awful ways. And any other business that would ever do this would get obliterated by its shareholders. But really, like what it comes down to is that the rules aren't that different. Markets aren't as unique as we think they are. But it is a market that is different because whoever wants to be told that you're not unique and you're not special. I mean, that's an awful way to say it. But what is important is that the concept of a target market and viability and understanding where this can go and measuring consumer value, understanding brand equity, the difference between a tactical and operational indicator versus a real business indicator, like these are all old rules. Um, but they've been skipped by esports a lot. And that's why people think it's different. It's not because it's different, it's because they don't realize a lot of people are operationally doing things in a very incorrect or unhealthy way for an organization.
Right. And going off of that, this question's for the probably the audience and the some of our clients and the talent out there that's going to watch this, see it on YouTube, whatever. Um,
yeah.
Obviously, a big part of this industry is the partnerships that are created between a
Hmm.
product like Advanced GG and the talent or the pros. I don't. I'm not asking how many viewers, how many of this numbers wise, but what do you look for in a partner, in a potential gaming partner, such as a content creator or a pro game?
Yeah, no, great question. I mean, first and foremost, I'll say that we don't just work with anybody and anybody. And there are brands out there that do that. I mean, they have open affiliate programs, or they don't really vet the people that they work with. Um, our brand, our reputation is the most important thing to us. Always doing the right thing, and not just from a business standpoint, but just because
Yeah.
it's the right thing to do. And this is the world that we have to live in, whether you make money or not. I mean, there's
Hmm.
legacies, there's you want to do the right thing. So obviously there's lots of drama out there, and there's lots of people doing horrible things, so you have to be really careful who you work with. That's first and foremost. Although you can't, we're not psychic, we can't predict the future. So if we end up working with someone that's not holding themselves to the standards that they should, then we have to let them go immediately. So that's first and foremost is working with good people. Other than that, I mean, having talent, right? I mean, in this industry, it's an entertainment industry. It's kind of that we're in terms of influencer marketing. So it's not so much about having a huge audience, but having talent is important. So I'd say, I
Hmm.
mean, one or the other, right? Either having a big audience, which is important too, because that's how you make an impact when you have partnerships and sponsorships. Um, but the other way to work with us, or for us to want to work with you, is if you have a lot of talent. I mean, we have to be also talent scouts in a sense. We have to put that hat on and be like, this person is going to be the next Ninja, the next Tifu. We should work with them now, or, rather than wait
Hmm.
until they blow up. So having an audience already, or having talent would be the other thing. And
Hmm.
just being easy to work with too, communicating. We always get on voice calls. At least I do personally. I get on voice calls
Hmm.
with everyone I talk to. I don't like to play the game of just back and forth text. Like, I like to talk to you, get a sense of who you are, what your character is like.
Hmm.
And then kind of going back to how one of the things I think differentiates us in terms of working with partners and whatnot is when we sign partners, it's an actual partnership. It's not just like affiliate or something we just let just leave you be and never talk to you ever again, like probably 90% of brands out there right now. And then they come to us, they tell us all the time, like other brands are just kind of they forget about me. I feel like they don't even remember my name or who I am. We have follow-ups with the current people. Respect the people you have, but also look forward to grow and scale. But be appreciative who you actually have now, right? Don't just be like, okay, I signed this person now, and I can just look forward at signing more people and more people. Like, appreciate the people you have as well. So it really comes down to communication and reciprocation when it comes to sustainability. Having a long-lasting partnership. Um,
That's awesome.
what would you say, Rich? Yeah.
The partnerships, I guess you could say, I mean, I got outside of the core requirements. And I like in full disclosure, I'm always a little bit biased here, just from my analytics background, right? It's that, you know, uh, I guess you could say the most important thing for me is meeting partners where they have an understanding of what matters and what doesn't matter. When it comes to the nature of their presence and their goals. Great example, right? A lot of folks we know have sort of built up very large Twitter handles, but I can tell you that Twitter is the single worst conversion platform in digital. Like, it is the worst. Um, it's awful. Their media, awful. And I'm sorry for I have friends who work Twitter media side, but we all kind of know this. It is an uphill battle, right? Um, you will find individuals where they might have smaller view count, like a smaller like sub or follower counts, but they have incredibly high pass throughs, right? Because people are into the nature of the
Engagement.
content. So that's really what it comes down to is when someone really understands who they are, not what other people tell them, not what other people sort of gas them up with. When someone has a really strong self-awareness and then they also have a requisite goal of where they want to be, it's a great person to partner with because we have those things internally at Advanced, and then what we do is we look for unique ways to grow those aspirations together, and that to me is a wonderful thing. But then outside of that, it's just anyone who's got a good head on their shoulders. It's the number one thing to start with. Everyone remembers that, those old Nike t-shirts like talented but lazy, and we watched like like Benedict Cumberbatch as Sherlock, and we like love the character, but the truth is nobody actually wants to work with that person. You don't want Sherlock in your life. It would be awful. Homer Simpson can be fun to watch, but you do not want them as your parent. It would be awful, right? And that's really what it comes down to. It's just having that ability to talk and to communicate. And it doesn't mean everyone has to be like a perfect speaker, but being able to eventually be open about where they want to go, where someone wants to go. Without that, we can't really build a great partnership because,
Yeah.
it requires us to kind of just grow together.
For sure, Richard. And it's funny you say
Communication
that
and
because
reciprocation.
it's funny you say that too, because that sounds like something that we constantly are saying to our clients too. They're just because you have 50,000 followers on Twitter doesn't mean you can get all the partnerships in the world. You have to have a
Hmm.
solid base, a solid following on everything, and kind of going
Hmm.
like we talk to our clients all the time about how Twitter is the worst conversion rates for sponsorships and partnerships because
It is, yeah.
how many times did people just glance by a tweet? They're not going to really look at it as
Hmm.
much as mentioning it on stream or doing a TikTok or a YouTube pre-roll ad or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And that's something we preach all the time to our clients as well. So, that's another way that our two companies definitely align with one another. A question that people are definitely asking and wondering, and this wasn't like something that we talked about, but why does, and this might be for Eric, and then you can pass over to Richard, but like, why does a company like Advanced GG partner up with a company like Carter Pulse? Like, what is the reasoning behind doing something like that you might want to tell the audience? Like, hey, this is why we do it. This is the plan. Like, obviously internally, like I said, it was months of talking, and it just made sense.
Yeah.
It was
I
family.
mean, I
But
I
go
can
ahead,
just
Forrest.
answer just point blank. There's two types of people in this world. Get a little echo. But there's two types of people in this world. There's followers and there's leaders. And I mean, Carter Pulse you guys are leaders, right? And you grind like you. Um, we had to kind of put the talent scout hat on in terms of even B2B relationships, right? In terms of building strategic partnerships with other companies, other brands. And you guys are relatively, new in the space, been around a bit, but just really looking into you guys and the amount that you've been able to grow so quickly. It was a no-brainer. It's like, if we don't work, why would we not want to work with you guys? Like, if we don't work with you guys, we're missing out. It's a loss, and I hope you guys feel the same about us. It's really the people behind the brand, right? Carter Pulse is just a name, right? It's just a logo. But I mean, it's you three and the whole team at Carter Pulse that really just spoke to us, and it's like, we got to work with these guys. They're go-getters. They're smart. I mean, you guys, educated. It was just a no-brainer in that aspect. So.
Awesome. Yeah. So as we keep going and wrap this up, one question that we always ask every week to the people that hop on is, what does esports mean to you? What makes you want to do this every day? What makes you realize like esports is the future and stuff like that? Why do you choose this field?
Go ahead, Rich.
For
Good,
me,
that's a
it's
good question.
old school marketing saying, right? It's meet people where they're at. You got to move with the times. The times move you. There are people who thought talking and sound in motion pictures talkies was going to be a fad. Why do you need talking in film? Why do you need color in film? Why do you need high definition? Why did you need to change audio formats? Why do I need an iPod? Once upon a time, people asked that. What the hell is an MP3, and why do I care? I can just send a WAV file and zip it and zip it up. Truth is, things change, and so must we. But for me in particular, it's that the reality is that and this might be overly deep, right? But we've been facing issues with social capital collapses for decades. I mean, when Robert Putnam wrote about bowling alone, I mean, that was like what, in the 60s, about the collapse of social capital in communities. It was because of the way things were changing and the nature of societal constructs. And esports is just another element of how there are elements of people that will now live and participate in different types of community work and play in a digital space. But for me, um, it's when I see that sort of blend of the in-person and how you can connect that digital reality to in-person. You can see some really, really amazing things happen. Like I said, my background was supporter clubs. So it's getting people together to yell at a television, right? Normally you would do this yelling at a soccer game, but in this case, we're yelling at we were yelling at Seoul Dynasty as New York Excelsior, beat the crap out of them in in their first match in Overwatch League. But it's that energy and that magic that can then become a powerful catalyst for getting people to re-engage with the real world. And I guess this might sound crazy, but for me, I've always believed that if you really handle the esports community, yourself, and you manage an engagement within the esports world well, it can pay powerful dividends to what we've seen as lacking community social capital around the world. And then with that, you can change the world and create amazing things. Not just have fun, not just make money, but you can actually then fill in the rest of the needs that we have in the world, which is that it's a new form of
It's the new
global
community, is what
citizenry.
you're saying,
Right.
basically.
Yep.
Mhm. It's a new community. It's a new way for people to gather, to get together, and to
Yep.
to meet each other. And if it's something that you're not doing already, maybe you're a millennial like me, or maybe you're older, you're in the older generations. It's coming. It's coming whether you like it or not. I mean, Gen Z and the earlier generations are. It's going to be just normal for all of them. If you're not
Yeah.
doing it, they're going to ask, like, what is something else mean to you? This is just going to be like an automatic
Mhm.
thing that's incorporated into everybody's lives. It's just a
Mhm.
new way to interact with people, new
Yeah.
community. So
But I do think though that the real magic is when you tap on it, you connect it to real life. It's why people, think about it. It's like what makes esports great, right? If it was just a digital experience, no one would care about missing lands, right? No one would care about missing events. Hell, if digital was good enough, no one would have been stressed out over the past year, would they? So, but you see, when you bring it, what a great way to. The truth is, we have to change. This is just the way the world is. It's like people might not want to care about TikTok, but you cannot deny that it exists. If you do, you're just kind of being a little bit self-righteous, if you really think it's not that important, right? But I think it's just an amazing way to see just again really old school ideas. Um, Reconnect with the new community, a new energy, a new type of youth, and then just create awesome things.
Yeah. No.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because a year ago when we were a year, 2 years ago when we first got in the scene, like all our friends, they were like, "Oh, like what esports?" And now
yeah, what is that?
now you tell people and they're like, "You guys are geniuses!" like that,
Yeah.
everyone
Yeah.
everyone thinks it's genius now, but it's funny how that was. That even just the transition in the just over the time period of COVID alone has gone
Oh
from
yeah.
sports being like
Yeah.
I don't want to say like frowned upon, but the traditional sports
Yeah.
enthusiast would be like, it's not a sport. It's not a sport. But now it's gotten to the point where everyone's just like, it is a sport. It's just a different form of sport,
I
And
mean, we've always had the same arguments, right? I'm a baseball fan, and I've heard people say it's not a sport. I mean, it's like people in esports are like think that they got to defend themselves. Imagine being like a Jays fan, like being a baseball fan, trying to explain that that's a sport, right? But then at the same time, I'm like, well, if that's the case, like, is golf a sport? I mean, and I've always told folks, I mean, the whole concept of arguing if it's a sport,
yeah,
okay, sure, it's actually not. I used to say, well, what if we just focus on the desire to have competitive excellence and competition?
yeah.
Right now we can enjoy snooker. Now I can enjoy professional disc golf. Now I can enjoy darts
Well,
on
I was just gonna
Boxing
say
Day.
disc golf. Did you read that? Well, you were the one that linked me at that guy.
Yeah, I said that to
Signed
you.
to what, a $10 million contract? Did you guys hear about that?
Insane.
Dan and
Insane.
Kevin and
Crazy.
yeah, $10 million contract for disc golf. And I saw some of the plays that have been happening in that. I'm like, I mean, I like golf. I enjoy golf myself. I'm like, I can totally see this
Oh yeah.
being as just as popular as golf. Like, I mean, I
Oh,
love disc golf. I've played it
Yeah, it's
multiple
cool.
times. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be so many things that happen
yeah.
throughout the future. The
I,
world's going to change.
Like the
yeah.
Mario Kart call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Well,
man.
There you go. Make
I'm
that.
waiting for the new Mario Golf esports. Based off of the new
That's
new
what I'm
release.
saying.
Like,
Fill up the Texas the esports stadium
yeah, but
with
like,
Mario
why
Kart.
not? I mean, we
Super
meet for
Mario
weirder
Golf.
things. I'm a wrestling fan. I when I was in New York, like you could. I mean, I went to 2 NXT takeovers. I've loved wrestling my whole life, and people are like, it's not real, and I'm like, you watch MC Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. Did you know that's not real? Did you know Thanos wasn't real? Scarlet Witch wasn't real. I'm like, that's not the point, right? You're watching it because you're watching a show. Why cannot we be entertained? And I think that's the beauty of it, right? It's that esports is this amazing world where it's a little bit like interactive theater in a way, right? Like, you can make enough of a comment, but you can't touch the performers kind of thing. Like, that's sort of what it's like. But I used to love like haunted hay rides and wax museums. And there's a sort of hyper reality that's sort of like that, the boundaries between the reality, simulation, simulacra, they're all kind of like, we're really close in that continuum. And I think that esports is playing into this sort of like deeper psyche where actually what we love is people love to be entertained. Even in the worst of times, there's two things that always survive. One is bars, two is some form of entertainment, right? Even in the absolute darkest times in human history, we've always seemed to have had alcohol, but entertainment is an important thing. Entertainment can be healthy and it can be unhealthy. So why not get into it and try to do it in the healthier way, right? Because there's always going to be bad things. So why not try to do some good along the way?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we wanted to thank you guys in Advanced GG for not only creating this partnership but also joining us today. This is just the beginning. This was just an introduction. Like I said in the beginning, make sure you follow Advanced GG on all socials. Carter Pulse. Go check out the products. They're unbelievable. You guys know us. We would not just be saying this. This is like Dan said.
And we have free samples too. There's free samples, just pay shipping. Get some
Exactly.
samples.
There you go. Free samples. So you try it, and once you try it, we know you're gonna love it. And like I said, this is family. This is not just business. We don't just do this with anybody. And I know Advanced GG is the same way.
Yep.
We're excited.
Carter Pulse 30.
Also, yeah, right now for I believe it's 5 days, we do have Carter Pulse 30. That's 30% off orders on Advanced GG. Go check it out. Go get yourselves a product. You're gonna love it. Get yourself a shaker. They're all cool, as you can see. The flavors are amazing. I like the watermelon. That so far, that's my favorite one. But obviously, yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's all over. I got the logo on it. There you go.
I'm taking mine out of coffee cup though.
Advanced coffee, focus
Yeah,
coffee.
there you
Maybe
go.
you're onto something.
Drink coffee. I'm gonna drink the Focus every morning.
Yeah, get a Keurig cup going. Let me
Yeah.
let me pop that.
I feel like we should be making like a focus or performance-based non-dairy
Dude, that would be
creamer,
sick.
like a focus or
No,
advanced
no, he
advanced
just gave us the
non-dairy
idea
creamer.
We're giving
No,
out
a
too many
Keurig. We
ideas
should
right
do
now.
the first Keurig machine for a product like this. That's a good one. That's a
Get
good one.
going. Patent it now.
Yeah.
All
Does
right.
someone say you got to save this because you know if that comes up, you can be like,
Yeah.
come back when and be like,
So
where's
that's
our
all
royalties?
right here. Yep. We said it here first. Yeah, this will be up on YouTube anyways. But yeah, once again, thanks guys for coming on. You guys can follow them on Advanced GG on Twitter, Instagram, all that. Check out their website, advanced.gg. And thanks again for hopping on.
Thank you for having us.
See you guys.
Take care.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Take care.